fans, here we go in our main event. This should be spectacular. It's the IPW heavyweight champion, Scoot Andrews, going up against the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels. These two have met before. They've split many decisions. This is a great rivalry going on all across the United States. In fact, they were recently on Shannon Rose's radio show as guests. That's Pro Wrestling Weekly. They can be heard each and every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. on 1040 a.m. here in the Tampa Bay area. Check out all the news on these guys and other local and international stars on ProWrestlingDaily.com. That's ProWrestlingDaily, all one word, .com.
What's unfortunate is you have two of the best independent wrestlers in the entire world who have experience in the WWF, have experience in Japan, and truthfully, it don't even matter about that experience. They are tearing up the independent scene, but these guys had to follow up some pathetic match with Frankie Rose and Freight Train Freddy trying to invade IPW and do their own shoot invasion angle, and there's nobody left in the crowd to watch the match. We had over a 4-hour show. The place was rocking and rolling. Now you got the main event out there, and because of two bums coming up and embarrassing and stinking up the place, these guys are left to wrestle in front of 15 people, and if you look at one of them at ringside, he's barely 6 months old and don't know what the hell's going on.
That's true. These guys don't care if they're in front of 15 people or thousands and thousands of people, like when they've worked WWF or WCW shows. They're going to come out and give you a great show each and every time. Fans, I encourage you, if you don't already have your VCR set them right now. Tape this match. It's one you're going to want to keep in your archives. Trust me.
Now, you talk about all the so-called big groups. The XWF, now headed up by Jimmy Hart and Hulk Hogan. I can't even believe I'm saying the name Hulk Hogan on this show, but truthfully, he's the man. He's in charge of the XWF. He's the owner, and he is courting and chasing after the fallen angel Christopher Daniels. And from what I understand, Scoot Andrews is one of the most highly sought after free agents out there. I'd like to say that I have Scoot Andrews signed to an IPW exclusive contract. That's not the fact. IPW Hardcore Wrestling never prevents their stars from taking work elsewhere, from getting their names out there and trying to make a good living in this business. And Scoot Andrews is doing a great job of that. The XWF should be chasing and throwing money at these two individuals.
Yes, they definitely should. They've both proven themselves. And let me tell you, Scoot Andrews, if I'm not mistaken, still holds 2 other heavyweight titles around the country in other big independent groups, including the ECWA run by Jim Kettner, who puts on the Super 8 each and every year, in which these two met not that long ago, a couple of years ago, I believe, in that tournament, Ron.
Yes, it's amazing that the truth is Chris Daniels beat Scoot in the finals of the Super 8 tournament.
Beautiful maneuver there by Christopher Daniels. And Scoot Andrews, he's our champion, but he's getting counted down now by the referee. No matter what you say, Ron Niemi, he is a gentleman, Jim Bragg.
Scoot Andrews lost 2 years ago in the finals of the Super 8 in the ECWA up in Delaware. Who's the heavyweight champion of the ECWA right now? Scoot Andrews. Chris Daniels has been chasing after that title. He may be a former Super 8 champion, but just like the IPW title and the Maryland Championship Wrestling title that Scoot Andrews holds, nobody can beat him. He is the hunted, and he is hunted all over the country. It don't matter what belt he's defending. I'm proud to say that IPW and the Florida WrestlePlex is what Scoot Andrews calls home.
That's true. Scoot Andrews has been unbeatable ever since winning that title. In fact, at the time he won it, he was a double champion, the light heavyweight champion as well. Here you see him right now getting worn down a little bit by that headlock maneuver. It's rare you see rest maneuvers by these two guys. Let me tell you, they've been going at it very hard since the opening bell. You're only seeing parts of this match. They've been going at it upwards of 15 minutes here at this point. And there you see Scoot Andrews trying to fight out of it, but Christopher Daniels just trying to get a little bit of a rest.
They can see it. You don't need to tell the fans there you see every 10 seconds because they're watching their TV and they see exactly what you're seeing, Aaron. But on November 24th, back at the Florida WrestlePlex, Scoot Andrews has got an open contract to defend that title. And from what I understand, there is huge negotiations going on right now with that idiot Bill Behrens at NWA Wildside, who invaded IPW for him to send his so-called best talent, AJ Styles, to come down and challenge Scoot Andrews for the IPW heavyweight title on November 24th at the WrestlePlex.
Hey, what happened last time Scoot Andrews wrestled AJ Styles?
He beat him. He pinned him 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. November 24th is going to be a huge night. But on December 1st, at the Outpost in downtown Tampa, right across from the Ice Palace, IPW Hardcore Wrestling is going to run their first show ever at the Outpost, and it is going to be insane. The main event is a no disqualification grudge match. It is going to be one of the most violent, most sick, unbelievably mismatched, some people would say, the Rasta Man against, I hate to say this, NWA Wildside's Chaos.
I tell you what, Ron, those two, I've been thinking for a long time. I wonder what would happen if the so-called king of hardcore right here in IPW Chaos, who's now with NWA Wildside, went up against who many people say the toughest guy in all of wrestling. Many people will tell you from first-hand experience he's got the hardest right hand in the business. I always wanted to know what would happen if these two guys locked up, and we're going to find out December 1st at the Outpost.
I hate to take anything away from these two individuals in the ring because, again, this match, we're only seeing highlights. We can't. The show's only a half hour, people. We can't show the entire match because they went longer than a half hour. It don't matter if there's hardly anybody sitting in the crowd because they were all bored to death. Unbelievable. What do you call that?
I call that something I've absolutely never seen before, Ron. I don't know.
I refer to it as a lucha spot.
Oh, that's what that is?
You've forgotten our gimmick, Aaron.
I'm sorry. And there you see Shannon Rose at ringside, marking out as usual. He's trying to play to the camera, but he doesn't realize that we're using the roaming camera on this shot. Sorry, Shannon.
Only Shannon Rose would be looking off in some other direction, nonchalantly, not caring, as the Black Nature Boy, Scoot Andrews, and the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, are in the ring, tearing it up in Match of the Year on the independent scene right now. If you listen to Cowhead, our good friend Cowhead, on the Steel Cage on Sports Radio 1010 a.m., the team, every Saturday morning from 11 a.m. until 12 p.m. noon, you can hear stars like Scoot Andrews, Chris Daniels, and there's this guy on there almost every week now. I'm sure you heard him. He's really entertaining.
Are you speaking about the Hardcore Giant?
Absolutely, myself. You might get to hear some people like Jimmy Hart on there from the XWF, Road Warrior Hawk, Greg Valentine, but when you got the opportunity to hear the Hardcore Giant, Ron Niemi, how can you pass it up?
That's true, because everyone knows you don't talk nearly enough on this show.
Absolutely not. This looks like it is the beginning of the end. See, that's what I like about Scoot Andrews. He's basically out on his feet. Actually, he's out cold laying on his face right now. Chris Daniels is just dropped on the back of his head and neck 3 times, and he's still got the presence of mind to lift up that right shoulder and say, no, brother, you're not taking my title.
Like I said, in all forms of sports, people get on a roll where they're almost unbeatable, and right now, that's what's going on with the Black Nature Boy, Scoot Andrews. He's been unbeatable, like I said, for the past 6-8 months, not only here, but everywhere he's gone. Oh, this is going to be a painful move, it looks like. Oh, no, he gets him in the sunset flip there, but only a 2 count. Christopher Daniels comes back with a 2 count of his own. Nice set of reversals there by these two. The crowd should be going nuts, but like you said, they've been there over 4 hours. They've seen a lot of other great action, some hardcore stuff, some other high-flying stuff. Oh, and there you see referee Gentleman Jim Bragg getting knocked off his feet.
Get out of the way, Jim Bragg. He was basically he's hypnotized by all those near falls. He's like blown up trying to get down after the 72nd 2 count in this match. He's in the corner trying to catch his wind. The Gentleman, get out of the way. These guys are trying to wrestle.
Beautiful moonsault there by the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, but no one there to count the 3 count.
Well, I'm not going to complain so much about the Gentleman now. At least he had the presence of mind to get in the corner and get his lights turned off, get knocked out, get knocked in the next week, and not be there for the 3 count. The Mud Baby Star Stevens could have did no worse.
Hey, I tell you what, I'm not going to sit there and say that Gentleman Jim Bragg is doing this on purpose, nor am I going to take away from the Black Nature Boy, Scoot Andrews. He knew the referee wasn't there, and I believe he would have kicked out at any moment, but he was smart. He was sitting there resting and waiting, getting a false sense of security to Christopher Daniels. And oh my God, what the heck is that?
That's the last rights. The last rights by the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. Again, he rolls over, covers Scoot Andrews. Absolutely no referee there to make the pin, thank God. And Scoot Andrews, please get up, bro. You're defending the best title, the most important title on the independent scene today. That is the IPW heavyweight title.
That's right. We don't need any of our titles going to any other promotions. We've gone through that. We've got them all back here in IPW, and that's how it's going to stay. And who is this?
AJ Styles. What do you mean, who is this?
Look at that maneuver. I couldn't quite see who he was there, Ron. You're right, that is AJ Styles. I'm not sure exactly what he calls that maneuver, but we've seen it on several occasions, and it's always devastating for whoever he's going up against.
See, that's the problem with Wildside. They supposedly got some beef with us. They supposedly got some problem with us.
2,
but he's
3.
willing to put over
There you
Scoot
go.
Andrews.
Everybody, fans, we hope you enjoyed it this week. We're going to go right now to me closing out the show.